Hey everybody, what's up? Don Carr here, and I'm checking out the Rosette from Mesa Boogie. Mesa Boogie is of course legendary for their electric guitar amps, and now they've turned their attention toward acoustic guitar amps with the Rosette. In typical Mesa Boogie fashion, they've gone the extra mile to give you a lot of features and a lot of options that you're really going to love and make this a really pro piece. The Rosette has two completely independent channels, and the first channel gives you the option of either using an XLR input or a 1/4 inch input. The XLR input is optimized for a mic, and the 1/4 inch input is optimized for an acoustic guitar. Right above the 1/4 inch input jack is the switch for the pickup and mic selector that chooses between the XLR and the 1/4 inch input. And right next to that you have a mute play switch. And when you're in mute mode, the status indicator light comes on. And you can also access the mute play through a foot switch. Right next to that there's a clip indicator, that's an input clipping. And you've got a phase reversal switch. The phase switch is really handy if you're playing live and you're using a PA and or a monitor and you find that the amp is actually out of phase with either one of those. The effects send controls the level of the effects for this channel. Now that's either going to be the built-in effects, which you have reverb and chorus, or the effects loop. Next is a high-pass filter, and you can see that it's sweepable from 40 Hz to 200. Now that's really handy again if you're playing with a PA and you find you're getting a lot of unnecessary low-end rumble. Next is the EQ section. First you've got a bass control, and next to that you've got a low-mid control that allows you to sweep the frequency from 150 to 1800. Next you've got a high-mid control that allows you to sweep the frequency from 300 Hz to 5K. Finally, in the EQ there's a treble control, and then right next to that you've got the selector for the different effects. You've got the option of a reverb and chorus combo, a room reverb, or a hall reverb, and then depending on which effect you have selected, you've got 3 different parameters you can choose from. On the output section, you've got a master volume and an effects master. Now the effects master controls the blend of both channels. The Rosette is 300 watts of Class D power, and it's driving 2 8-inch drivers and a tweeter. So here's one of the little extras that I was talking about that makes this amp so nice and so pro. There's a tweeter control on the back. You can either run it wide open, which they're calling flat, or at -6 dB, which is the way I'm using it, or you completely shut it off. All right, this is a little bit of a geek alert here, so if you're not really into like tweaky little details, fast forward through this little section right here because I'm going to get really geeky about this tweeter. Actually turned the tweeter off and ran a tone through the amp, and started at 10K and started dialing it down, got all the way down to like 3K. And you could still hear it at 10K. You can still hear the 10K tone, even with the tweeter completely off, which means that the tweeter is mostly there in a supplemental form. So it's not just a complete crossover. So that helps make the high end really smooth. Okay, end of the geek alert. We're back to like normal video now. The Rosette weighs in at 30 pounds, which is great, super portable, very lightweight. You can also see that it's really small and low profile. Since it's so small and lightweight, Mesa Boogie did something really cool. They put something called the twist lift adjustable tilt back system on it. And even with as small and low profile as the twist lift is, it's still really sturdy. So let's twist some knobs. I'm playing a Taylor 414 CER, and we're gonna start with the effects all the way down. Now I'm going to add in some effects. We'll start with the built-in hall reverb. I've got a TC electronic flashback delay plugged into the effects loop, and here we go. To capture the sound of the amp in the room, I'm using an EV ND46 and an ND66. So starting here, we've got the XLR output for channel 1. You can see there's a ground lift, and you've also got a level switch which switches between line and mic level. You also have the option of going post EQ or pre EQ on your output. That's a great feature if you're using the Rosette as an onstage monitor and you want to send a clean signal to your front of house guy. The second XLR out is for channel 2, and the controls mirror channel 1, and you can see here that we have a combined output of channel 1 and channel 2. The combined output is always post effects and post EQ, which is great if you want to send your sound to the front of house guy. There's a line level aux input, and it will accept either mono or stereo signal. There's an effects send and effects return, and you have an effects bypass foot switch option. And here's where you'd plug in a foot switch to mute channel 1 or channel 2. And you've got a headphone output, and finally the speaker output. The fact that the Rosette is a solid state amp means you can unplug the speaker output and use the amp silently. The sound is so good and the tone shaping is so powerful in the Rosette, I could certainly see using it silently in a live or a studio situation just to shape your tone. Up to this point, we've been hearing the amp mic'd in the room. Now we're going to hear the DI sound only. I'm taking the sound that is post effects and post EQ, so here we go. So there you have it, kids, the Rosette from Mesa Boogie. If you have any questions about this or any other Mesa Boogie product, make sure to contact your Sweetwater sales engineer, or you can check us out online at sweetwater.com. Thanks.